What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Gaming Podcast. This is the third podcast. My name is Alex.
And I'm Jake.
And today we have a few things to talk about, including some more Nintendo news. I'm a big Nintendo fan. And some Xbox spicy news.
Spicy.
So, yeah, it's very spicy. And we'll also be talking about the new Xbox and the new PlayStation and what games are going to be on it to start. But first, we'll talk about some things that we have been playing, which if it's the same thing as last week, it's just what we're playing. But I do have different games. So, Jake, let's just start with you real quick. What have you been playing, or have you been able to pick anything else up recently?
So this week, I guess the most recent download would be PT, which is it's a very interesting one. It's basically this demo that was released in like 2015, I believe, on the PS4 exclusively. It was supposed to be a playable teaser for the Silent Hills game that was supposed to come out by Konami, but there was this huge ordeal with Hideo Kojima and Konami where they basically had this huge fight. They split off. So the game basically got canceled. But this playable teaser, that's why it's called PT, because it was never named because it was a trailer that was supposed to be played.
I was wondering what that meant.
Yeah, because I was like, PT, the game, that doesn't make any sense. But it stands for playable teaser. So because it's a trailer. But it's basically just a demo that was available on the PS4. That you could download and play, and it teased the game coming up. But the trailer was so good that, like, the playable teaser was so good, it built like this cult following. Like, all these people were into it. So when they removed it and they took it down on the PlayStation servers because Konami is like, oh, we're not doing this project anymore, it became this huge deal. Everyone was upset. So they basically the game's been remade over 4 times now by just fans of the game. People trying to get it there, which Konami has fought, to take it down every time it's come up, but fans keep recreating and throwing it back out there. So basically I was able to find a way to get it this week. So that's what I downloaded this week. So that was really interesting, and just kind of seeing the story of this game and just kind of what was behind it and why it got taken down was also really cool too.
What kind of game is it again?
So basically it's like Silent Hills is like it was like a horror strategy game that was like...
Oh, heck no. I don't do horror games.
I mean, I don't either, but it was just because of the history and the thing behind this game. Is why I was like, okay, I gotta check it out. Of course,
some horror, game or whatever has a cult following, right?
Yeah. You really tried on that one.
I didn't try too hard. I thought it was actually relevant. So.
Right. Okay, I'll let that one slide. We'll just let that one go away. But yeah, because Silent Hills was released on the PS1, I believe, 1 or 2. I don't remember, in 2001 or something like that. And it was like a pretty beloved game. And then so when the remake was coming out, and he did it in collaboration with a very famous horror movie producer that I forget his name right now, and I feel bad for it that I'm forgetting it right now, but that happens. But basically, it was a big deal that was coming out. But when this thing got taken down, that kind of sparked the recreations and all this. So it's really interesting, just the story behind it. No, I'm not a fan of horror stuff, but we're going to have a fun little project we're actually going to do with this game. So you guys will see that in the up and coming weeks. So it'll be fun. Tuned. Yeah, so stay tuned for more.
So for me, I've been playing... So I've been playing this game called A Short Hike. Super fun little adventure game. It's only 2 hours long, but I've been taking a lot longer trying to milk it. It was only about $6. But another game I have been playing, I actually downloaded 2 games. One, I don't remember the name fully, honestly. It was like 2 cents on the Nintendo eShop.
2 cents.
Yeah, it's normally like $10, and I was like, is this good? And it is. It's a shoot 'em up. So for all you old arcade fans, think of Galaga, but sideways. That's kind of what it was. It's actually really fun. It's on Steam as well. I think on Steam it's only $1 right now. Man, what's it called? I could just go grab my Switch, but I'm not going to.
Well, the 2 cents is an interesting price because anything anytime anything goes on sale, I feel like it's always like 99 cents if it ever gets down below $1, which doesn't happen very often. It's kind of rare to find a game for 99 cents, but like 2 cents is just like,
well,
why charge for it? Shouldn't it just be free?
This is a whole nother thing that has come up with the Nintendo eShop. Is it's not really optimized all that great. So it's based off sales. So whatever sells the most, and I think it's within like 10 days or whatever, whatever sells the most is populated to the top. So some of these companies need to. I'm looking for the game. Sorry if I'm like looking away. Oftentimes these companies want to get their game to the top of the board. And they'll put it on sale for like a week, right? But it stays on top of the board for like another 4 days.
So it's like a paid ad.
Right.
That
That's exactly
developer's trying to do in order to get it. Okay, that makes more sense.
So it's an indie game. Oh man, I wish I could just find my games that I own. Anyways, I forget what it's called right now. I'll probably have to go look for it, which doesn't really help you guys. But it's fun. It's really well designed. So normally when it comes to like 2-cent games or like 9 or 10-cent games or even $1 game, I will do my research real quick to kind of just make sure I'm not just wasting my time, because time is money too. So because you were to think like, oh, it's 2 cents, who cares? It gets annoying when you download a crappy game.
Yeah, definitely.
So I did my research, and it had great reviews on Steam. So, anyways, I've been playing that game. It's been really chill, and I've been playing some Marvel vs. Capcom.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's on Game Pass, so.
Yeah, I wish I could get more into fighting games, but every time I try, it's just like, you can't. There's like so many button combinations you have to remember, and it's just like,
yeah,
I want to try it, but like all I can do is button mash, and then I don't want to take the time to like learn all the combinations.
And that's the part. It's the time.
Yeah.
But once you get into one fighter, it's pretty much similar for all of them. Yes, the annoying part is like the quarter circle and then hit or low hit or whatever it is. Like all these quarter circles, because they're made for old arcade cabinets for the joystick, it doesn't always translate well to a controller or for a keyboard.
Right.
So, anyways, there are a lot of games that are a lot of fighting games that are trying to change that, kind of like do the Smash Brothers way, where it's like press this button for heavy or a special move, and then this button for a normal move, and then a few movements here and there. But yeah, it's not too bad once you get into it. See, I'm getting into it. I wish there was more people into it so I could play with more people.
Yeah.
I play with my buddy Caleb once in a while, but yeah, I mean, Smash Brothers is going to be the king of fighters for right now, which just sounds really weird to a lot of fighting fans, and I feel bad
calling it a fight
for contributing to that. There's a whole group of people that do not, a whole group of fighting game enthusiasts that don't think Smash Bros. Is a fighting game, but it is, and I'll die on that hill. So real quick, that was a long time of what we're just playing, so that was my bad. We're going to talk about what interesting things that happened this week. Something happened today. 2 things happened today. A big one thing, or I'll tell you one, Jake will tell you one. For me though, I'm a big Zelda fan. I love Mario too. Like I'm a big Nintendo fan regardless. Grew up on Nintendo and then Xbox, so that's why you'll hear me talk about those two the most. But Nintendo, my favorite character is not Mario, but Zelda, but Link. So like Legend of Zelda. Those are my favorite games. I've played a lot of them, finished a lot of them, didn't finish all of them, haven't played all of them.
There's a lot out there.
Yeah, there are. Pretty big part of my childhood though. So I know we talked about last week. We had the Super Mario 35th Anniversary 3D All-Stars collection. Yep. This week, we have, so I guess today is not today for you listeners. So this might be a little older news when this comes out. So this morning, they came out and talked about a new Zelda game. And we've been waiting for the sequel to Breath of the Wild. that game has been in development for a while now, and they announced it last year. People were looking forward to it, but obviously with real world events, and a lot of games this is happening too. It's getting pushed back. So
yeah, because Breath of the Wild was a launch title with the Switch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And Nintendo doesn't normally like do sequels. So if they do a sequel, it's because it did really well. And so Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year when it came out. And I think they just wanted to like do a turnaround. People have been waiting for more Zelda news or just news in general from Nintendo. So today, when they just kind of shadow drop this information, there's no tweet about it. Most of the time these companies give out like stuff for the fans, like, "Hey, tune in on Thursday."
Yeah,
even
big
like
news.
Nintendo, right? But even Nintendo, they typically do like at least the night before. And I woke up and this was on my YouTube. You know, like, oh shoot, what the heck? They're making a new Hyrule Warriors game. So Warriors games, if you don't know what those are more like beat 'em ups. They're really like focused on large armies, and you're a character and you have like special moves and you take out hordes of enemies. That's kind of the gameplay. But it takes place as a prequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
It's like 100 years before it happened, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's actually really cool because if you've played Breath of the Wild, it's an amazing game. It's probably one of my favorite games. Probably my second favorite Zelda game. And it doesn't really dive too deep into the story. You kind of wish it did, and it gives you tidbits. But that's what kind of makes the game. The game is kind of mysterious and stuff. But you are kind of more so interested in the world before what happened, and this explores that. So I'm pretty stoked about it. It comes out in about 2 months. So I think they're pushing for the holiday kind of buy area.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have much besides that, especially with the new consoles coming out. So I'm excited. I think it's worth talking about that. You know, Nintendo with their handheld gaming system, with a modified mobile phone chipset, you know, not super powerful hardware or anything, they're able to crank out news to compete with things like the Xbox and the PlayStation and their new consoles. But for me, that's something that's exciting, is the new Zelda game. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely some cool news coming out, especially because like Breath of the Wild was amazing. Then yeah, it's been 4 years, so
4 years.
It's about time. Like something else came out. Actually, well, I feel like prequels end up better than sequels, honestly.
Well, what's interesting about this one is it's done by a third party, so it's not Nintendo's not actually doing it. Mm-hmm. They gave it to a different company, and they've already made a game for Nintendo called Hyrule Warriors. So there's already a Hyrule Warriors game out there. This is going to be a Breath of the Wild specific one. Part of the trailer that they showed though was the producer of Zelda, all Zelda games, talking about how they work closely with this third party or third party developer, and it looks amazing. It looks great. It looks better than Breath of the Wild, honestly, right now.
I mean, it should.
Obviously, yeah, right. Because Breath of the Wild, to be honest, was designed for the Wii U. It wasn't even designed for the Switch, and you can kind of tell with all the menus you have to go through.
Right.
But
yeah, and then so we have what is known as the spicy pepper in the studio today.
Yes, the spicy one.
Basically, there was a whoopsies made by somebody out there working at Microsoft. Don't know who, but I believe it was last night, late in the night, someone leaked the Xbox Series S price. Mm-hmm. Confirmed that. And then so it was a leak. So they leaked the Xbox Series S at $299, and they leaked the Xbox Series X at $499.
That's crazy.
So, which we've been waiting for these prices for a while. The PS5 has still yet to announce their prices. But with the Xbox prices being leaked and confirmed, so Xbox did confirm the Xbox Series S price at $299, but they which is
a good price.
Yeah, $300. that's how much a Xbox One S would cost you new right now. It's like $270. So I mean, holidays it's usually you can probably pick one up for $180, but if you bought one right now, I mean that's not bad at all. And the Series S is the lesser model to the Series X. Basically, it won't be 120 hertz, 60 FPS, 4K. Like it'll be downed a little bit from that, so it'll probably just be like a 60 hertz. It'll probably have 4K because the One S had 4K. I don't know what level to that it'll be. If it'll be like true 4K, because the One S wasn't true 4K for all this. Right. But not many people have a true 4K TV anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that's big news. When it was leaked, Alex, I think you noticed this tweet first that was sent out by Xbox. But Xbox literally just tweeted the meme. It's the Muppet. Do you know which Muppet that is?
I don't, and I don't even think it's a Muppet. I think it's from some random show. Is
really? It looks like a Muppet.
I mean, it's a puppet. It's a puppet like toy thing, but I don't think it's an actual. I don't think it's one of the Muppets.
We'll throw it up on the screen for the video, but
yeah.
Basically, it's just the I think the Muppet-like puppet character when he like looks back over his shoulder and then like looks down when it's like. I don't know. I guess when it gives in reference to someone like being responsible for something, but not being the actual like person taking the fall.
Right.
That's hard to explain when you can't show it. But show basically, yeah, they just show it on the phone. Let me pull it up really quick. But basically, they just tweeted this last night in response to the leak. It was probably like an hour or two after the leak happened. Maybe even 30 minutes after. Xbox was just like.
Right here, it came out. I don't know if this is. I'm going to make sure this is like legit. But there's an image that came out.
Put it on the screen for all of you there. Show it on my phone. That is the meme.
Oh, they just came out 6 hours ago. They came out with a video as well.
Yeah, so they actually which they probably had everything set to go. Now, was the leak intentional or was it on purpose? That is up for debate here. I feel like, but because companies will leak. But really, it's intentional just to kind of like build up some hype.
Right. So I think to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, this Xbox Series S is going to be all digital. So no CD drive.
Getting rid of those, just like Apple.
Up to 120 FPS.
Oh, so they are?
Yep. Ray tracing. Variable rate shading, variable refresh rate, ultra low latency, custom 512 gigabyte SSD, 4K streaming media, and 4K upscaling for games. So it's not true 4K.
So not true 4K. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Just upscaling.
Yeah, so it's like the One S basically, which is to be expected at $299. You're not going to get a native 4K console for $299.
Right.
That's just way too expensive.
Honestly, for a game too, unless you're playing a narrative game or you're playing an adventure game, you don't really need that, or like it to you it doesn't really make a difference, right, to your naked eye. So, I don't think that's too big of a deal. I like my Switch. And handheld, that's 720. So, just one of those things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. But it's kind of, I was looking at all the launch prices for Xbox consoles since the Xbox has been a thing. So, that way we can kind of do some comparison. But the original Xbox launched at $299. So, that was the first Xbox One. Not Xbox One, but Xbox. Just flat.
The first Xbox.
Yeah, the original.
Old box.
Yeah,
the old VCR looking
box. The giant controllers and
yep,
all
the
that.
Duke controllers. They've officially named it the Duke controllers.
Those things were huge.
Duke,
the Duke. That's how large it was. Yeah. And the Xbox 360 launched at $299. So in 2005. So the original Xbox 360 launched at $299. The Xbox One launched at $499 in 2013. So the Xbox One. And I remember that was a big deal when that launched because that was a higher price than expected. Because I remember everyone's kind of talking about, whoa, like $500 for a console is a lot, which
right, and
it is.
I think we've talked about this too before. People like consoles, because we're getting to the point where now consoles are becoming just gaming PCs.
Yeah.
Like what they're running, how they're running it. Console used to be kind of like, if you guys remember, or for anybody, like when I think of my Nintendo 64 or my uncle's Sega Genesis, like that's a console. It's not a computer. You know what I mean? Like it had its own proprietary thing. It's the same as if I went to an arcade and played one game. That's kind of what I would think. But now, how far technology has come and how realistic things want to be, or how graphically intensive, they're just coming out PCs. But that hasn't translated to consumers yet. So
yeah, which
I think price is like, this is a game console though.
Yeah,
it's like a media console now.
Yeah, I wish they're trying to get up there, but then I feel like they're getting closer to the PC. But then PC just kind of like when Nvidia dropped the GeForce RTX 3090. Basically, that's a graphics card that goes into your PC. But they dropped that thing, and it'll smoke anything that comes even close to it. Like the graphics I think it put out is insane. But that graphics card itself, just the graphics card that goes in your computer, not the computer, it just costs $1,500. So
yeah, forget that.
Yeah, it's gonna cost you a pretty penny if you want the crazy stuff, you know. But that graphics card will probably do you good for like the next 5-10 years. Right. But yeah, so launched that. So $499 for the Xbox One, bigger deal. But then they launched the Xbox One Series S, or the Xbox One S, which I think that launched at $299. Yep. So it wasn't as bad. And then now the Series S coming out will be at $299. And then the Xbox Series X will be at $499. Kind of back to the original Xbox One, which in 7 years to kind of keep that same price for the upper level console, I don't think is bad, because a lot of people were expecting $599. So right. I think $499 is a good
something to note too with a lot of these like consoles. They're most of the time companies, at least it's what for my research and kind of doing. First of all, my research. Second, kind of talking around with people in marketing and stuff, is they lose money on launch consoles. Like they expect to lose money, but what they're trying to do is expand their what's it called?
The user base.
The user base. Yes, thank you, sir. Yeah, they're trying to expand the user base so that they can make money off of microtransactions, or get the game and then get them locked in.
Xbox
for Xbox,
Xbox
for
Live.
Xbox, they have a suite of services they could offer you, and so that's kind of where they make their money, which makes sense. And a lot of those things are still good deals, and that's why everyone doesn't go to PCs, because there's a whole ecosystem they could just kind of gravitate towards and just re-up. I mean, if you think about it, you have Xbox One that came out. Let's go without Connect, right? For $400 back in, when was that?
Xbox One's $499 in 2013.
In 2013, and what's 2020?
Oh, yeah,
7 years later.
I think that did launch with Connect at $499.
Yeah, so with Connect was $499, without Connect is $399.
But that took a year or two to get the without Connect model.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
because remember they realized their mistake, because it was supposed to be Connect focused when it came out. Like that was the big thing. Right. Which that's a whole other story. The whole thing. The failure of the Connect is a fun story.
Which is why they had this mid console life refresh at 3 year mark, Xbox One S.
Right.
So anyway, so if you got the original Xbox One and you get the newest Xbox coming out this year, a 7-year gap, I mean, I'd spend $500 on to up everything up for the next 6 years.
Yeah, so it's like $80 a year price for your console if you break it down. So,
and if you get a PC, I mean, you're going to be updating that thing maybe yearly, right? Like you're going to want, if you can, spend extra money on this. No, are you like? I guess I don't know. So yeah. What would you say?
No, like your PC is going to last you, like, I guess just what it can run, and then like just the abilities it has will last you longer than your console. But if you wanted to, so like to upgrade a console, like you have to buy a whole nother console. To upgrade a PC, right. I could just buy a graphics card, or I could buy more RAM. So
which that is what I'm saying. I'm saying you do update during the lifespan itself.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you'll
I wouldn't
get,
do it
like,
every year.
So you wouldn't get like maybe a graphics card this year. I mean, obviously it's different for you. You just built yours.
Yeah, I just built mine. But it's like, say, if it...
Like next year, are you not going to get something for it?
No. Graphics cards, no. But like graphics cards
or
kind
anything.
of an integral
Yeah,
part. But
I'm
no,
talking
I think
about anything
all the
for it.
peripherals and stuff, like, I mean, the only thing I wouldn't need anything unless I want to be like very like, oh, I want to, but I don't have like a creme de la creme PC. Like, you can spend $30,000 building a PC, right. Which I don't think I've ever gotten. I'll get to that point. So like maybe in like 5 years, like I see myself like being like, okay, let's update some stuff. But
okay,
I don't see it happening yearly.
For sure.
Kind of like what you do with your console. Like you wouldn't update it every year.
Right.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's where, which makes sense. I mean, I've had my Mac, right? And obviously you can't upgrade it, but I haven't wanted to upgrade. Like, I'm not looking for the new Mac next year.
That'd be ridiculous. You have some money if you're buying a Mac every year.
People do it, man. People do it.
Hey, that's pretty
the
crazy.
Brand.
But
the brand.
Also, what we should talk about is that the PS5 has not released their price yet, which is
not yet.
Everyone's calling for it, especially
Watch,
now.
This is going to be outdated by the time this episode goes out.
Yeah. So that's going to be.
Not.
I think people are expecting between $499 and $599 for the PS5.
See, I think
I've heard a lot of $599 floating around there.
I think they'll ask for the $600,
which is going to be that's going to be a huge win for Microsoft if Sony asks for the $600.
They also have with something we haven't talked about is Xbox has 2 SKUs, right? They have two models coming out.
Yep. So you have your lower price model for your
which is the one we're talking about,
more budget conscious consumer,
right?
And then you have your like more up there model for your person who just wants everything. They want to worry about like, oh, I want to try and play in true 4K and I want to see everything this thing has to offer.
And PlayStation has the same thing, which is going to be the first time for them, but not really. Wait, I think we talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah, no, they're only doing one model because PlayStation's never done 2 models at release.
Well, they're doing, so they do have an all digital.
Oh yeah, version. So there is that, but it's not like one's in 4K and one's not kind of thing.
Right. Yes, it's not a totally different like S versus X. They do have an all digital model versus a all or versus one with a CD drive.
Right.
So
which doesn't affect performance at all.
No, it doesn't. No.
It's just if you want to just download all your games from the cloud, or do you want to actually still go to GameStop and get a disc?
Or Best Buy or Walmart for $10 less.
Yeah, that's true. Every time I buy a disc, I will check Target, Facebook, Target, Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, like see who has the cheapest for that disc. Well, I'll scour.
A quick tip is typically a new game is always $10 cheaper if you shop in Walmart.
Yeah, that's usually where I find it cheaper, especially with Switch games. So they're always cheaper at Walmart.
Yeah, 10, you save $10. They want you to come in the store.
Yep, that makes sense.
Let's talk about. So yeah, that was the spicy sausage. We got the Xbox price leak, and then officially confirmed the next day.
Well, I think we should probably address the elephant in the room, which is if you're an Xbox fan, you have probably been expecting Halo to be released, right?
Yeah.
Because Halo is the big deal. Like, you're getting an Xbox and new Halo games coming out. What? This is like everything I've dreamed of. And
you're getting a new Xbox and getting a new Halo game.
I know.
A brand new.
It's like when Halo 3 came out, I'm getting my Xbox 360. Like, that's what it is a reference to. But then Microsoft or 343 Studios was like, hey guys, actually, we're gonna have to walk that one back.
We're not. So what he's getting at is the new Halo game, Halo Infinite, is no longer a launch title for the new Xbox. We're just gonna call it the new Xbox right now. Xbox
new
Series X.
XS
or S.
Just like the iPhone XS.
Yeah, we'll just call it the Xbox. So the new Xbox. So if you guys don't know, for those of you who don't know, it's a big deal what launches with a title. For example, we got the first Xbox came out with the first Halo. The reason why people know about Halo is because it came out with the Xbox.
Yep.
Xbox 360, just like Jake said, came out Halo 3. We can even talk about, for me, Nintendo 64 came out with Mario 64. People know about that game, and it's a launch title. I don't really know what PlayStation's come out with. Racing games?
As a launch title? Typically?
Yeah, launch title. I mean, they had like Ratchet and Clank.
Well, Uncharted.
That.
Uncharted's pretty big.
So anyways, typically you want a strong start. You want somebody to buy your console, but not just because it's new hardware. You want them to buy the console and because they want to play this game.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're making a big deal about launch titles. Launch titles kind of set you up for either failure or for success when it comes to a console launch. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean like that's going to be the barometer of how you're going to do for the whole cycle, right? 7 years, you could turn things around easy. And I think Xbox did turn it around last year or last generation. With the first Xbox, they didn't do so hot. They banked everything on their Kinect.
Yeah, well, I think
did not do well.
Why a launch title is important is because if you're buying the newest console, so if you're buying the Series X, you want to play a game that takes advantage of everything that console has to offer performance-wise. Right. So games that were on the Xbox One that are out now aren't going to be optimized for the new hardware that's going to be in the Series X. So you're not going to get that true 4K. You're not going to get that 120 hertz refresh rate. You're not going to get the 120 FPS. So like you're going to miss out on like some stuff that you would get to see if you got that new launched optimized game, which they have to release those. Those aren't out because that console's not out. So they don't have the ability to do that right now.
Right.
So that's why launch titles are a bigger deal, because you want to take advantage of what you're paying for.
Early on.
You want to take advantage. So that's why you're like, I want these games out, which some games are going to do, like give updated versions that can run on those consoles. Like that'll come down the line, but still, I don't know how many would be available at launch. Not a ton. So that's why launch titles are a bigger deal to people.
So talking about Halo being pushed back, when that happened, like the same day, Xbox came out with this blog. We'll read it. It's from Xbox.com. I'll read it to you real quick. The title is Xbox Series X and S launches this November with thousands of games spanning 4 generations. So they doubled down on, like, we know Halo's not coming out. We know.
But we
got pushed back to 2021. But we have thousands of other games.
Which, granted, is better than the PS5 because the PS5 only goes backwards to PS4 games.
Right. So, and spanning 4 generations means, and this is something, too, that I was just talking to my brother-in-law yesterday about Xbox. Or actually, I didn't just talk to him. It was brief. We talked about him either getting an Xbox or PlayStation. And I was telling him, like, yo, PS4, like, it really doesn't matter at this point. The games you want to play are kind of cross-gen. You could play with people on not cross-gen, I'm sorry, cross-platform. Yeah. And you could play with people on both sides, so it's not really that big of a deal. So, you know, you could get it at PlayStation. He goes, well, I'm an Xbox guy. And I was like, oh, okay. If you're that guy, then you're that guy. I totally forgot about any game that he liked on the original Xbox or Xbox 360. He could probably play it on the newest Xbox.
He can't.
You can't do that with PlayStation. If you have a PlayStation 2 game that you really liked, cool, go pull out your PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
If you have a game you really liked on PlayStation 3, cool, go pull out your PlayStation 3, because you're never going to play that on PlayStation 5. Even PlayStation 4 games. Yeah, even PlayStation 4 games. What do they have here? They have that PlayStation. I don't have the article, but what I do know,
it was only 100 titles that were going to be backwards compatible.
First they said 100 titles, the top 100 titles, and then they rephrased to most of those titles. So most of the 100 titles will work.
Most of.
So it's becoming smaller and smaller of the backwards compatibility.
Which game remastering is becoming more popular lately, but it has to be like a huge, like, crowd favorite games to get remastered, which that's
Right.
a big requirement for a studio to do that. I mean, Skyrim's the perfect example because Skyrim's been remade like it feels like 8 times now. But
I don't even think so. Like a remaster is one thing, or like a remaster remake, right? And maybe this is for a different topic. But if you're just porting something, sometimes people are not looking for a brand new Mario 64 remaster. You know, they're always looking for updated graphics or whatever. Sometimes you just want to play that game, so you just port it over. And
which
that's
is
the
what
difference.
Xbox lets you do, but it seems like Sony's not going to be. They're just going to be like, yeah.
If it's old, it's old.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I could respect that to a certain extent. If you lock it, though, like if the capability is there and you just said no, like that's what annoys me. Is the capability there? Well, yes.
It's like, why wouldn't you let me do it?
Yeah, just let me do it. And I think Xbox, because they have the capability, they're letting the player decide on what they want to do. And also, they don't have Halo coming out, so like thousands of games.
Yeah. They're really push that.
Yeah, they're really pushing that. I was talking to my barber today. We're talking about games and stuff, and he was super stoked about the new Xbox, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get Xbox and the new Halo." I was like, and I told him, it was bare bad news. Like, bro, Halo's not coming out till next year, man. He goes, "No, wait, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, they pushed it back because he was before this conversation happened. He asked me if I was getting a new Xbox this year. I told him probably not. I'll probably wait. And he goes, I want to get it. I want to get the new Xbox, the new Halo, and that's when I broke the news. And I'm saying broke the news as if it was like some terrible.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Your father's passed.
But no, he was pretty bummed about it. He was like, "Oh, forget that. I'm just going to wait then." I'm like, "Dude, wait!" Like that's what I'm saying. There's no real reason to get it until a game that you want comes out.
Right.
Especially if Xbox is supporting it. I told him I'm waiting. Now when it gets closer, we'll see what happens. If I'm like, oh, this is gonna be sick, or if they do like some shadow drop of like a really cool game I've been wanting to play. But like at a $300 price point, that's not bad.
Or if we talk you to a PC by that point.
Right. That's why I probably won't get the Series X, the $600 one. I'd go for the $300 one if I upgraded. But but Xbox came out and straight up said that they're going to support the Xbox One for the next at least 2 years, like full on support it.
Yeah.
They want a family of consoles. So
yeah, which I think is good of them, and then it won't alienate a lot of people like Sony's kind of pushing to do. And I think keeping like your older games on the platform is like very good. And I'm kind of like fist up to Sony. Like why would you take away some great games that are out there that would be pretty easy to run on your console?
I mean, something else to talk about for Xbox is they offered 2 developers if they wanted to. They will, if the developer wants to, what they'll do is that's something called smart delivery, which will, if someone puts a Xbox One game in, it'll optimize as long as the files are there. They'll optimize it on their end. Xbox will, and show you the PS5 version of the Xbox Series X version of the game. So if you put it in Xbox One, it'll show the Xbox Series X version.
Yeah, so if you bought a game on Xbox One that has an Xbox Series X version, then it'll automatically upgrade you to that.
Pull that, right. It'll upgrade it, basically.
So you don't have to rebuy
for example,
it.
Like FIFA. Like if you bought FIFA 21 now, before the new consoles, and then you bought a new console, you put the FIFA 21 the same disc, it'll give you the Xbox Series X version, which I think is awesome. Now, if companies are going to do that, I don't know, because companies are going to want to be like, well, I want them to pay both. I want them to pay for both versions. It's like, yes, I understand, but typically your audience is going to want to pay for both.
Right.
So if you could lock them in, you could just lock them in now. But anyways.
Which I think is a good move. Like, I think that'll be good to have, especially if you're planning on upgrading, so you can just go ahead and get the games you want, and then it'll be there whenever that availability comes to you. So yeah, I think that would be cool. So like launch titles, I think Sony has a little better stuff because they have the new Spider-Man coming out, which is going to be pretty awesome. Like I know a lot of people love the Spider-Man game, so that should be pretty awesome.
Have they confirmed that it's a brand new game? And it's not like a add-on or anything?
I believe it's a brand new game. It's at least a brand new storyline. I don't know if I don't think they're doing like the GTA 5 thing where they're just like keep releasing like different like things to do in the game that's already out. I don't think they're doing that. I think it is a full game.
I'm just making sure because I it looks like it's a brand new game.
Yeah.
Is it a launch title though? Do you know?
Yeah, it is a launch title. They're
Okay.
pushing it as a launch title, so the new Spider-Man will be coming out whenever it drops.
Because I heard that it was like a launch. It should be in a launch window, which doesn't mean the same thing. I don't think.
Yeah,
It's
which
like
it could be
week
around
later.
the time. Yeah, it could be roughly around there.
Which, I mean, I think if you're saying it's a launch title, you better have it on day one. I better be able to buy both, and I just buy a hardware and have it sit for a week and a half. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, I get you on that. Like I feel the same way. It's because you kind of want to play it, right? When you open your new PlayStation, you want to be like, hey, like I want to play this game and have it ready to go.
Yeah, they don't have a date yet. Holiday 2020, which is probably the date will probably get confirmed once PlayStation comes out with their confirmed date as well.
Yeah, I know Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be a big one too. That like everyone's talking about.
And that's on both, right? On both.
Yeah,
systems?
that's the Xbox and PlayStation. It's not a whole ton of exclusives out there that I can think of. The Ratchet and Clank game is supposed to be super cool.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
that's
people are
coming on
psyched
PlayStation.
about that. So that's just PlayStation
Yeah.
only.
Godfall, that's a third party, so that's coming to both.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the list right now.
Yeah, I was trying to see too, which a lot of them are just like, games that normally come out like Madden 21 and NBA 2K 21 or like this is the holiday games that typically come out.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of launch titles are just third party, so they're not your exclusive, right? You have to get a PlayStation in order to play this game. You can play it on both.
Yeah, and then Rainbow Six Siege is getting done, so that'll be a big deal too. But that's Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, a lot of these are cross-platform.
Yeah, so I'm like, nothing too crazy. I mean, the Spider-Man
Which
game is going to be the big one, and then Ratchet and Clank are probably going to be like the two big ones for Sony on
For
launch. Xbox doesn't have anything too crazy. I think they have like Forza and stuff like that, but
So
without the Halo
Xbox,
game.
Xbox has 3 games exclusives, and they're not amazing. I think that's something we can talk about too. So that's where they're doubling on. We have thousands of games across 4 platforms, but if you want to talk about exclusive to Xbox Series X or S, let's see, where are those games at? I just had them pulled up. They kind of briefly talk about it in there. Let's see. Pull down. Sorry. This is great podcasting. Just pause.
That's what edits are for.
They have Tetris.
Oh yeah, I saw the
Effect.
Tetris thing and I laughed. Like I chuckled. In my
That's
head. I'm
that's
like,
one of their.
That's their
and
exclusive.
they have that's their exclusive for 1 year. Then it comes out on PlayStation the following year in 2021. They have Tetris, a game called The Medium, and a third game. I can't find it, but
Scorn.
Scorn. Yes. So
Which-
those are the 2 or 3 games that are like. So yeah, I understand now why they're going for like. We have thousands of games because they don't have an exclusive.
Yeah, I'm looking at
As
these
opposed to
exclusives
PS5.
and I'm not excited about them.
No. And I look at PlayStations. I mean, PlayStations is granted, they have just Spider-Man alone beats all the other 3.
Yeah.
And then they have a few indie titles like some of their smaller companies or their smaller brands.
Mm-hmm. There's they're releasing a Gears Tactics, which
I don't think that's a exclusive.
oh yeah, but it's Xbox Game Studios, so I think that's why I was thinking that. But yeah, it won't be exclusive.
Rift Apart, Ratchet and Clank is a PS5 exclusive, which we already said.
Yeah, that one will be a lot of people are excited about that one.
Returnal is a PS5 exclusive. I don't know when that comes out. Sackboy a big adventure. It looks like the character from Little Big Planet. I mean, we were even just looking at this list. I was telling you that Fortnite is going to be the same Fortnite until mid 2021, so they're not even coming out with their next gen version of the game until next year, anyways.
Yeah, so nothing too crazy. So I mean, I never really suggest getting a console on launch day.
No, me neither.
I always say wait. I would probably wait like March of next year, start see what comes out.
Yeah, if you can wait, and if you already have a console that you already have, I think just keep that one.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be missing out on much. If you're looking for a new console, you might as well get one of these. At least for the Xbox, it's going to be the same price as if you're getting an Xbox One. Granted, they might be $200 as opposed to $300, but you must spend the extra $100.
Well, holiday with a new one coming out, the Xbox, I guarantee you the Xbox One S will probably go on sale. Which the One S, like the older one, will probably be on sale for like $120 or something like that. Yeah, Series S and 1S, but
yeah,
the 1S will probably be on sale like $120, somewhere around there.
You think so?
For Black Friday, so. Dude, Black Friday, because I got my 1S on Black Friday last year or the year before for like $180. So I don't see it being that price when new consoles coming out. So
I guess you're right, and they're gonna want to sell more.
Yeah, they could do $149.99 maybe, but if they really want to sell them, $120 would be a good price. I feel like.
Yeah. Shoot, I'd buy one for $120. What the heck?
Yeah, so maybe $149.99. All right, that's gonna be our prediction. Our prediction is that Black Friday Xbox One S will be $149.99.
And I'll say it's still $180.
Okay,
that's my prediction.
All right,
how much you think how much you think the new PlayStation is going to be?
My prediction. Now that they saw this, I think they have to go $499, but they might go $599. But now they have the same specs. Like, specs are pretty identical. The Xbox Series X actually has a little bit better specs than the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's the slightly more powerful console.
Slightly. Not by much, slightly. So I'd be shocked if it was $599, but I wouldn't be surprised. That doesn't make any sense, what I just said there. That is the worst quote ever.
No, I think that's a great quote. I think we should plaster that.
Oh my
I wouldn't be surprised, but I'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
And then during this whole thing, during this colossal power, battle, you have Nintendo over here with their small chipset and small portable thing coming out with
they got those colorful switches.
Yeah,
they have release their Joy-Cons
for $300 still, or the lights are $200, but then you get a Switch for $300 with Mario Kart. They're coming out swinging still, I guess.
Maybe Black Friday the price will go down actually this year, but I mean the Switch has been out for 4 years and they have not dropped that price.
No, they haven't. People want it, that's why.
It'll probably be $279.99 on Black Friday.
Yeah. If that, huh?
Yeah. That's usually what they do. Something stupid like $30 off, and you're like, really? Like, this console's been out for like 4 years.
And your competitor, or not, I don't know if they consider them competitors, but there's other game consoles that are 100 times more powerful. not exaggerating, for the same price. And Nintendo's there like, yeah, but do they have Mario?
Yeah, but we have Mario. No. You'll pay for this. True. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens with all this, and if Xbox is going to try to pull something out of their magic hat of studios, because they own a bunch of studios now, and see if they can get a decent game as a launch title. Because if they don't, I feel like this is still pretty weak, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah. So I guess to wrap it up, don't buy a console at launch. That would probably be our advice. I don't.
Unless you don't have a console.
Yeah, unless you don't have a console at all.
Unless you're shopping for a new console.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Get a newer one instead of an older one.
Or get a 1S on Black Friday when it's going to be $149.99.
Or
$149.
Soon to see.
Soon to see. Stay tuned. Yeah. So don't get a console at launch unless you just don't have one. You really want one. Be on the lookout for those Black Friday deals for the older consoles because that wouldn't be a bad buy. And then just kind of looking forward, like I think it's going to be cool when these consoles come out and what they'll be able to do. But I'm not sold on them right now. Yeah.
Time will tell, though.
Time will tell. I would wait, though. Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate or listening. We appreciate you. And
episode 3's in the books.
Episode 3. Call it finished. All right, and we'll see you next time. My name's Alex.
And I'm Jake.
Have a good one.